questions.
Okay. All right, great. So, hi everybody. This is Danilo Marcucci from Umbria, from Bastia at Cepiolo right now, bottling wine. I met you back in the spring of 2017 when I came over with Matt Molo, and I ran around Lake Trasimeno and like popped into the tasting there at the winery, and then I kept on coming back. I guess just about every year, and pressed grapes and pumped wine and stuff like that. And I really I've learned more about winemaking from you than I think anybody else. And so I'm excited to talk to you about, taste through these wines and talk about, you know, like why you do what you do and how you make wines without using sulfur, without using temperature control and stuff, and still make wines that are pretty and clean and really lovely wines. And I'm going to read myself.
Oh yes. What I'm thinking now about making wine is not just the result of a recent approach to the wine making, you know, is the fruit of 25 or more years of observation and studying, and inside the possibility to go deep in what is going to happen in the making wine, in the making natural wine. So when I started making natural wine professionally, I was young and I was very very surprised, you know, about this miracle of the transformation of the skin juice in a wine. And I immediately started to investigate in the reason to understand much better what's going to happen, you know, in this miraculous moment when with the fermentation you are going to have the liquid of the spirit. And so at the beginning, I mean in the end of the 90s, I just observed. And in the middle of the 2000, I started to find connection with other people, with other wine grower and teachers, professors, regarding the incredible object, the wine, but not how the wine is, but how the wine is generated. You know? So we shared our opinion for a long time with many wine growers, with many scientists, to understand what is at the base of this miracle transformation. Okay, and I can synthesize, I can resume all my work in a description of a cycle, the cycle of the life in the vineyard and in the wine. And this cycle is very delicate, you know, it's very close to the nature, but even to the sensibility of the man and the women, because grapes has no foot, has no feet, and then the grapes by itself cannot go from the vineyard in the cellar, you know. So the men and the women have a great responsibility. In fact, in this cycle, I can find the rule of the men and the women like one of very important rule. But in this cycle, the men and the women must entering in the rhythm of the nature, and this is the hardest part. The hardest part is entering in the rhythm of the nature. And so I started to play many different terroirs in my career, and I made an incredible number of wines. I made an incredible amount of experience, but I'm still feeling young. I'm still feeling young because when you are comparing yourself with the nature renews you every day in the vineyard and in the cellar. So the work I did and still doing is continuing listening of the nature with an increasing and never ending knowledge on the way. This is my idea of making natural wine. So sensibility, experience, and knowledge, because we need to put our attention more in the books, more nature, more in the serious approach, and less that is very religious work, the work we are doing.
I think that's a really good point that I try to make to people, that you've made so many different wines because you have worked with so many different wineries. And so in the space of a year, you
Inside the vineyard and the cellar. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. The video is sort of cutting in and out, but I can hear you. Yeah.
So I was saying that we should be much more religious in this making this wonderful substance, which is the natural wine, because I feel that nowadays there are many good intention that are not proved by the result, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a matter that don't put enough attention in stay in the vineyard, observing, find your own spirit, find the way to understand what you are doing, even in the cellar, you know. So this is very important for me to say to you and to your clients. It's the road that I'm doing a long time. I started making wine when I was 7 years old with my grandfather, with any awareness. Right now I'm 52, I do lots of wines, but I'm still feeling myself younger. And I think that this is the moment for everybody to be more focused on the nature, on the respect of the nature and the respect of the production of the wine. Because I see lots of people around me that they are talking, and you know that I'm not a great speaker, and this is not good. We should talk more with our bubble and less with our mouth. Okay.
Yeah, that's, I get what you're saying, that nature is rejuvenating for you, and that it's constantly new, that every vintage, you know, nature is always different. It's always something new to learn and something new to understand and figure out. And you have to approach it with humbly. You have to approach it in a humble, spiritual way. As soon as people think that they have everything figured out and they understand how nature works, you know, that's when you're going to be surprised that it's going to work out in a way that you didn't expect.
I mean that or what I mean, or what I meant, that this is a very delicate moment where we should have much more responsibility, not just in our disposing or in our showing the wine, but more in what we are doing every day, in the silence of the vineyard. I think this is the real key of making a great natural wine. Stay alone in the vineyard and create your own respectful position in the nature. And this is the only example that we can give to the next generation. Working farmer, as you said, humble and working hard. So less lights on the wine and more concreteness. This is what I'm feeling now, because I'm seeing around us lots of lights, lots of words, lots of people that work, think and talk. But I'm convinced that my wines have the possibility to talk much better than me. My wine has the possibility to talk much better than me, much better. I always thought in this way, and I will think for the future always in this way. So my voice is nothing. My voice has no sense, but the voices of my wines, they have sense, you know. And
so you speak through the wines. You speak through the wines that you make, and a big thing for you is being present, is being in the vineyard, like listening to nature, listening to nature and being there. I mean, it must help that, you know, you live at Conestabile della Staffa. You've spent so much time at Conestabile della Staffa. You've spent so much time at Cepiolo. You know Umbria so well, and the rhythms throughout the season. That must give you a big advantage. That, you know, you're there in the place that you know so well.
yeah, but I'm not finished the understanding even of Umbria that I know very well, because you know, every day, if you stay all day in the nature, if you stay all day in the vineyard, you find something to learn.
Right.
Because if you have an open mind, you are not arrogant man. You are not the man of the showing. You know, natural wine is becoming a great show. This is not belong to me. This is not belong to me. So if you are a lonely rider of the vineyard, probably you will find a way to learn faster and much better from the nature. Even in Umbria, that is my region, but you know, I stay every day in my vineyard, and every day I have something to learn from the nature. You know, this is the problem right now. This is the problem, is that the spirit of the nature request a lot of sensibility, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of silent, not talking, silent.
Right.
Only in the silent you will find the road, you know.
And yeah, a lot of
This is my work.
days
You know, if you are, of course, if you have another work, you have to talk. But in my work, I prefer that my wines talk for me. So I'm happy to stay with you, but as you can see, I'm not stay with you because I'm still working. So for me, it's a part of the work, but I'm not the man that is going to show the wine in this social media show happening or pop up. No?
Right.
So I think that there is too much interest in the media of, about natural wine. This is a problem for me. And I disagree with this, all these voices and rumors around natural wine.
Yeah.
Understand?
I do. Yeah, but you get to, so you can stay there and just you focus on just making wine.
It's the only thing. No more you can do what you are doing every day, staying in your vineyard. As you know,
in the end,
I don't have just one vineyard. I have lots of vineyards to take care. And so I'm always moving up and down in Italy and then outside Italy to find the possibility to read and to listen more I can the messages of the nature. That's it. And then, of course, I need to do a great work in the cellar to don't waste what I created in the vineyard. Because before I talk about cycle, no?
Mm-hmm.
And this cycle is very interesting because everything is connected from the first leaves that we are going to have right now in a couple of days to the last glass of the wine you have in Portland or in Tokyo, in Sydney. You know, everything is connected.
That's sort of one of the things I was thinking of was back in 2019 when I came and visited and we were pruning, and you were saying that, you know, a normal winemaker or someone from, you know, like a university, if they saw how you were pruning, they would think it was terrible, or they would think you were a crazy person because you were leaving so many branches. We were trying to train them all down on the wires at Conestabile della Staffa, but you were leaving too many branches. They were too long, too many shoots. You said that you were intentionally trying to get the vines to produce more grapes.
Yeah. I remember very well at that moment, and there is still something that is inspiring me, no? Because you know, watching the nature. I'm a nature watcher, and watching the nature means observe the evolution and the physiological. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, and the physiological evolution and growing of the plants. So pruning is a technique that you can go everywhere. No, there are many schools of pruning or agricultural university. But what I felt and what I'm feeling is that each plant deserves a special attention, and so there is any rule to follow. There is any rule. There is only a continuous observation of the work and the evolution of the plants. For example, right now, I'm seeing the picture of the Gamay del Trasimeno pruning. They are plants of 80 or 85 years old, and they need a special treatment. As when I stay with the baby vines of 3 years old, there is another special treatment. So what I'm feeling is that a plant is a unique organism. Each vine is a unique organism. So I cannot consider a vineyard, but I consider a summatory of many, many single plants. And so each single plant is treated like a unique organism. And this is very important because I can not pretend, but I can have the best of the plants if I'm doing to her the best work of pruning, And then, of course, we are in the hands of God. But in my gesture, there is the knowledge mixed and twisted with the sensibility, always in the plants and always in the multitude of plants. So each plant is a unique organism, and making the wine means having grape. So in my idea, I want that the plants can make the best production without any violence. But if I have the best production in terms of quality, in terms of quantity, I did my goal. Because in this way, I will give more importance to the possibility to find the right way of mineralization of the grape. Because the work I'm doing after harvest time is to mineralize. Yes, you are doing well even here, even in these pictures. So mineralize the grapes in the wine. And if I permit the plant to capture the best natural elements, I will have in the grapes. And the more grapes I have, and more mineral elements I have to change in the wine.
So the more grapes you have, so I get that if the vine produces more grapes, the sugar will be less concentrated and you'll have lower alcohol, but you'll have more minerality.
Yes, because it's very easy to get sugar net. You wait for harvesting, the plant is going naturally to concentrate sugar. But my goal is not concentrate sugar, is find the right balance of sugar that permit to me to take and to keep stand the wine, but with much more water of the soil, because the wine is made by water, and the water of the wine is captured by the roots. And if I have more water of the earth and less alcohol, less sugar, I have more possibility to permit to my wine to live longer. Because I'm going to explain you something that is very interesting about the chemistry of the wine, because the wine is a bridge between the organic chemistry and the inorganic chemistry. The organic chemistry is the chemistry of the decomposable substances, and the inorganic chemistry is the chemistry of the not decomposable substances or elements. For example, the rock is inorganic chemistry. bunch of grapes is organic chemistry. So a bunch of grapes is possible to be decomposed quickly. A rock can live for 3 million of years in the same condition. So the wine is a bridge between organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry. And the soil that you are showing now are the base of this possibility of mineralization. It means that we have the perfect design of the nature. We have a nature that during the work of transformation of the sugars, fruit in alcohol, they also made the most important work, which is the mineralization. So they change the organic acid present in the grapes into inorganic acids present in the wine. So that means that they change, they turn some water, some juice of fruit in a rock. So this is the real meaning of making wine to me. And it's not a matter of alcohol, it's a matter of create the possibility to put the wine closer to the inorganic chemistry, to be stable by itself naturally. You know what I mean?
Okay, and so having more of those mineral compounds in the wine, I mean that's the wine.
So having more
that's the wine
minerals means,
speaking, but that also helps the wine, helps preserve it.
of course, it's fundamental. It's fundamental. I didn't invent nothing, and not a magician. So I only realized and observed that more is the presence of the inorganic acid in the wine, and more I have the possibility of this wine to be stable without any preservative, without any adding sulfite. And people is thinking that, okay, I have big alcohol contents, this wine is for living long. It's not true. It's not true, because you are not drinking the expression real of the soil, but you are drinking something that is more a warm vision, or a warmer vision of this wine. That means that a difference from 0.5 degree alcohol is crucial to express more mineral, to live long more without any preservative, and to permit to be conserved for a long time. You know? So 0.5, 0.7, you know, people think that this difference is not so much, you know, for Luca, can you replace to your father? It's not too much, you know, but it's very important. It's very, very important, because everything is a very delicate balance, and change very quickly with a very small okay, doesn't matter, with a very small difference of alcohol. So is a long talking, but to be short, I can say the roots capture the mineral nourishments. The roots are able to capture in terms of aging and capillarity. You know, more aging vines have more possibility to capture water soil. I call water soil regard their capillarity, and the quality of the soil that the roots are going to explore is not depending just by the underground, but is mostly depending from the up, what we have in the vineyard. So if we have a great humus, if we have a great life, the cycle of the carbon dioxide is correct. That means that the humus and the green that we have in the vineyard capture carbon dioxide and get out oxygen. And you know that the carbon dioxide is very helpful for the growing of the microorganism of the soil. So it's not so bad, the carbon dioxide. Everybody is saying, oh, we are destroying the atmosphere. But if you are, if we will have the right approach to the farming, to the agriculture, we will understand that the real cycle of the carbon dioxide is very helpful for the roots, so for the life. So carbon dioxide is not an enemy. You know what I mean? So if we have the right soil, we have the right possibility to absorb carbon dioxide, that is very important for the roots, and get out oxygen. And if we get out oxygen, we are going to make a population of the vineyard full of insects, full of life. And these insects and this life will regenerate every year new population of yeast in the grapes. And the yeast are the small operators that change the grape juice into wine. The yeast, natural yeast, are the small operator that make the mineralization. So this is the cycle. Everything is connected. You know, we have everything. We don't have to do nothing, but we have to be very aware what we have. And so if we understand the cycle, we understand all or mostly of the making natural wine. All is impossible because the mysterious part of the nature is something that is not permitted to the men and to women to understand completely. But this is also the beauty part of this work. Every year is a new bed, and it's very, very challenging work. So you see this green that are present, these green herbs is so natural. I don't put any seeds to create. I just let the cycle of the work of the nature doing its job. Could be simple, but it's not simple. So this is a grafting. We're showing the picture. This is another agricultural operation that permit to me to create the best condition of the master selection, because in all this cycle, the grape variety is very important, and the master selection as well is very, very important, which is in opposition of the clonal selection that you find in all the conventional vineyards. So the cycle is easy to understand. It's not so difficult. The cycle is the underground communicate with the soil. There is an exchange between soil and the atmosphere. The harmony of the nature create the condition to stabilize the perfect timing of all the cycles of the herbs, of the manure, of everything. Of course, we need to be very respectful and find the way to be a part of the nature, to be a part of this incredible nature. And for me, the nature is my religion. I'm a religious man, and I can realize in the perfection, in the incredible perfection of the transformation of the grape in wine, something that is not explainable by the technique or by the science. Even I study a lot and continue to study the science, but there is something that we cannot explain. And this is the beauty.
Since
Yes,
there,
this is coming from this place.
yeah, since you're there at Cepiolo, I have a 2019 Cepa Bianco here.
Yeah.
Speaking of minerally.
Oh, yeah, the Cepiolo is this project that we are bottling now that was abandoned. And 10 years or more, 15 years ago, we decided with my partner, Riccardo, to give a new life to this wonderful small vineyard with the most important grape variety of my region. So we still have here plants of 85 or 75 years old. And the wine we are making here has been made and are still made with same tool that we found here. And so the supremacy of the soil, of the soul, of the spirit to the technique, to the technology. Yes. So Cepiolo is a kind of laboratory where year by year I make my best experience in terms to understand what's going to happen in making wine. So here we have planted 0.3 hectare of master selection of red and white, and we are growing. We are growing slowly, but we are growing with the messages that nature gave and still giving to us every day in this place. So this small farm has been like a long time ago a model of many other farmer style in Umbria, but unfortunately the difference lifestyle after World War II created the condition to live, this kind of property for people that prefer to go in the city. But we don't like cities, of course. We have to go to the city. We prefer to stay in the nature. So this is our choice. We stay here, we stay in peace, we produce our wine, and we perpetuate, we create possibility for the next generation to back to the simplicity and to the earth. This is Cepiolo. We produce around 25,000 of barrels. We are going to finish the plantation 2 years, and we will have total, yes, this is a plant of 85 years old, total 2 hectares. Yeah, this is the Cepiolo. So as you can see, there is no growing of the soil, so we are not in this place, in my place, in another place, we are not in the condition to make a revolution of the soil. We don't want. Yes, we are in Berry. Yes. Oh, this is Cepa. Yes. So the revolution of the soil and is an inversion of the rhythm of the absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. And if you don't work the soil, you have the natural cycle of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And this permits to us to have the most in terms of life in the vineyard. And if I have life in the vineyard, if I have bees, if I have all the insects, hornets, all the yeast, all the insects, they will work with me and for me during the pollination. And the pollination is the most important moment for creating the spreading of and the multiplication of the natural yeast. So you love this white?
Yeah, it's 11.5% alcohol, but it's still got so much. It has so much minerality. It's got so much energy to it.
Yeah. And this is just a factor of the soil and the age of the vines. But anyway, yeah, this year you will taste a wine that is coming from the baby vines, and which is amazing as well. So, you know, more I go ahead, the more I find the possibility to don't find any sureness in the nature. Nature is ready to surprise you every minute, especially in the wine. Yeah, this is the old style white wine.
There we go.
Of Conestabile della Staffa is the Arancio. And it's Trebbiano Toscano because Conestabile della Staffa is north of Umbria. So we heritaged the same grape variety of Tuscany. We are in the borderline. And this is honestly the white that people live in my place drank for all the time till the 70s of last century, when the trendy create the necessity to separate the skin in the white, of course, the skin from the must before the fermentation to obtain less colored wine. But you know, I'm the man of the tradition, and I cannot separate the best of the skin from my must.
When did you say that happened? When was that they started?
In the 70s of the last century,
70s.
In the 97. Yeah, with the advent of the decolored white. Yes, especially people didn't want this heavy whites having the color that now are very trendy because it's been called orange, you know. But for me, they are not orange. For me, they are white wines. But you know, when you have a white wine and you find a decolored white wine, and then you have a more colored wine, you are surprised. For the one that never tasted before, the white wine. So I always taste this white wine. I always taste Terra dei Preti, Malolactic in my life. And for me, they are white.
How much skin contact did this have? Was this vintage? I'm looking at the color here. Was
okay.
Two.
Yeah. Honestly, Ned, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But this is not. This is not the point.
That's not the most important thing.
No, it's fun because people are asking me how many days, and I said, how can remind all the days of the more than 100 and more wine I'm doing every year?
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Right. You've got flowering to worry about. You've got vines that need to be pruned.
No, there is something interesting to say.
Yeah.
There is something interesting to say. For example, each different grape variety in each different climate condition, in each different soil condition, create a different color. I mean, in the white, different color of the white wine. No, I don't used to work with an immediately separation of the skin grapes. I don't like, because if I make an immediate separation, I'm going to impoverish impoverish the amount of the yeast that are present on the skins. Anyway, when I make a short maceration, that for me is very short, is 2 days. So I let start the fermentation and then I separate. But when I let start the fermentation, I always enrich the mast of all the yeast I need for the transformation. And this is the first point. The second point is that usually I measure the skin contact. So for me, it's not important how many times skin contact, but it's more important that I'm going to have a wine. A wine means that the level of the sugar is below 1.5, 1.8 gram per liter. And I have a stable natural substance. This is very important for me. So what I'm doing, I'm going in a plastic tank, I taste after 7, 8, 10, 15 days, I don't remember, and I say, okay, now is wine, get out. And this is the second point. In a special condition of grapes, and I want to mention the Garganega. In the Garganega, to have is very delicate skin, but to have more contribute of the skin, I need to leave Garganega for a month, 2, 3 months, you know. So honestly, in the middle of the fermentation, I always have the idea of how many days I will leave the skin with the mast, because it's not yet white, through the color and of the tasting, because I'm going to taste, and I taste the wine during the fermentation every day. Or if I don't taste, someone that I reputed good for tasting will taste for me, you know. So anyway, I don't have exactly the date of the skin contact of this Arancio, but probably 7, 8, 10. But in my Umbria region, we don't have to live long time on the skin for the white to achieve a very golden color. It's easy for us. Okay.
That makes sense. That, I mean, different grape varieties, different vintages.
Yeah.
It's going to be different.
Different vintages.
Different vintages. Contact is going to be different depending on the different vintage and.
So you know, it's fun when people ask me how many days. How many days is not a parameter of beauty. You know, it's not a parameter of beauty. I can say you. I left with the grapes for 3 years. Okay, that means that is much more beauty is much more good than one I left for 6 days. So I know that all the drinks right now are asking you how many days on the skin, but I want to stabilize that this is not a parameter to define the quality of a wine. Okay.
Yeah, the parameters to define the quality is what it tastes like.
Yeah. You know, because this is everybody's asking how many days. I say, stop, please.
I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
No, because it's good to hear that. And this wine, you know, I know that this had longer skin contact relatively, but this wine is sunny and it has bright, fresh acidity, you know, and it has tannin to it. Like it's a tactile wine that sticks on your palate. Texture,
yeah,
but it's still,
you know, this wine has been made with my favorite grapes in the white wine, which is Trebbiano.
Mm-hmm.
And Trebbiano is my favorite grapes because it's really neutral grapes that has no arrogant voice, has no aromatic voice, but Trebbiano permit to the soil to comes up, you know?
Yeah, so it's not that aromatic. It's a more neutral
No,
grape.
absolutely.
So it lets the soil speak. It lets you taste the minerality.
Yeah, let the
Better
soil
feel
talk.
for that.
Let the soil dance in your mouth. This is the best. And you feel this sapidity, the sapidity, which is the combination of the minerals, the strange minerals and acids that are converted in inorganic acid, created the real key of the sense of a wine, which is in the mouth. So a great natural wine takes sense just in the mouth, in the final part of the persistence. And if you have a great salty combination in your mouth, means that you did a great job in the cycle I explained it before. But it's just the mouth. It's not only the nose. It's more important the mouth than the nose, because the mouth is the confirmation of the goodness of a good work you did as wine grower. If you are not a wine grower, if you want to be a wine grower, the mouth will explain and will talk to everybody in a good and a bad way. So, you know, we are back to the first my talk about let the wine talk for us. Oh yes, this is my idea. You know, I'm not the man that love long aging wine, because in my experience, I drank a lot of long aging wine, even very super famous. And when a wine is aging natural, I mean, without sulfite, Ned, careful, without sulfite, of course, is going, all the wines are going in the same direction, which is the direction where the oxidation comes up and the soil is going down. Because, you know, when I feel leather, when I feel smoky, I mean like something of very tobacco or kind of like that.
Yeah.
Dried fruit, syrup fruit. I'm not so happy.
Right. Okay.
You know, I'm not so happy. And I can testify. We can make a proof if you want. If we take wine, it's not for all the wines. There are some special occasion to find a wine natural that can live long, but this depending from the special vintage, for the level of the alcohol that is twisted with the level of the mineralization. So, but average, the wines, when natural wines, no sulfite-aided, when they are going to be evolved long time, they are going to become all the same. You know, white and red, they are going to become all the same. But it's natural. It's natural because we cannot wait a white wine or even a red for 20 years. Of course, we can do like an experiment, but if we want to always recognize the track of the soil, the track of the link, the track of the harvest, we cannot wait 20 years in any wine. I mean, without sulfite. So what I did in the Lipido, I make a joke, a fun moment to put together an evolved wine from 18, sorry.
18.
Very mature wine of 20, of 19, sorry, and a young wine of 2020. So 3 vintages put together to create the possibility to have youngness and mature wine at the same time. So this is my research, and I think we have an interesting wine that you have a nose complex with evolved perfumes, but a super fresh, super sapidity, super salty mouth. This is the Liquido.
This is all Sangiovese, right? Or mostly Sangiovese.
Yeah, all Sangiovese from 3 different vintage, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is my idea of evolved wine, evolved red.
Yeah. Trying to use the different vintages, get the best parts of each, get the
yes, get the best of youngness, of ripeness, of well balanced in the middle, no?
Mhm.
So
yeah, it's delicious.
yeah,
it's
it's
very
still delicious because in the mouth it's still saying a lot in terms of sapidity, in terms of soil, no? This is what I need to feel in the wine I love.
It smells
because I make the wine yeah, making the wine like always yeah,
and tomatoes.
yeah, very Mediterranean nose with dried tomato skin, which is very Mediterranean and is a note that I love a lot in the evolved red natural wine.
Yeah, but still
dried tomato skin. Yeah,
it has that, and then but it's still bright and fresh on the palate.
Yeah,
it's extremely thirst quenching.
Yeah.
All right, then.
Yeah, this is vivant. This is vivant means alive.
Alive.
Yes, alive, and is a Gamete Trasimeno 100%, with an idea to make a Gamete Trasimeno super fresh, super easy, in the same time deep, with a great possibility to keep, thanks to the ground cap, the fresher part of the wine.
Okay.
This is my idea of the Vivant, that is still super flowery. If the Liquido is more on the earthy sensation and in the Mediterranean sensation, and the Vivo is more in the flowery sensation. It's depending from the Gamete Trasimeno, which is very, very flowery. Great. Yeah. This aged in the fiberglass 2020, produced 6,000 bottles, so not so much.
6,000 bottles. Okay.
Yeah, but it's still super fresh, super competitive, super young, and easy to taste.
That's the Gamete Trasimeno there, I think.
Yes. It's a combination of bitter cherry, fresh bitter cherry flowers.
Smells almost a little bit tobacco-y, and then again it's brighter. It has nice acidity.
Yes, you know, acidity is a constant NAD that is should be present in the majority part of the wine, because you know, I want to express always the skeleton, the wine, no? Because for me it's much more important than the meat, no? Because the sky, I can think about the skeleton like the soil, like the mineral part, And the pulp, I can think like a meat. The pulp of the wine for me is like a meat, you know. And I'm a meat eater, but in the wine I prefer the skeleton.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
got a
that
great-
I'm.
yeah, the tannin is lovely. It's like young, tart, fresh fruit that there's fruit flavor, there's pulp, there's flesh there, but it has so much acidity and tannin that gives it this like this crunchy, fresh structure to it. That holds
Yes,
it all together.
but at the same time very drinkable, super drinkable.
Mhm. And then where is it? There it is. I was excited to taste this, the Rosisimo.
Yeah, Rosisimo is a special red that has been made with 100% of Colorino. That is a kind of grape that was used died only in the past for giving color to the other wines, and especially in Conestabile, the Rosisimo was in the necessity to be exported, you know, in the north.
Mhm.
To be well paid by the north sellers that they missed the color in the wine.
Mhm.
So Rosissimo means red, and is made with a grape that inside the screen there is not a white pulp, but there is a red pulp. It's the only one.
Right. Yeah. So for people out there, so this is a grape that has red flesh. Almost all red grapes have white flesh, but this has red flesh.
Yeah. And I made this wine respecting totally the tradition. In fact, it's a part of the classic style line Conestabile with aging exactly in this barrel that we are showing now, which is 130 years old. So I replaced this wine, is the first on the right. Yes. So I replaced this wine the same exactly processing of has been made for several years, you know. So Rosissimo, I like to define this wine in this way. Rosissimo for me is the opulence at service of the goodness. You know?
It smells very opulent. It has so much fruit.
The smell right now is very interesting because it's going more in the direction of the truffle and black truffle and less in the direction of the fruit.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. And the mouth is super creamy and it's super well balanced.
So you said this is more a classic Conestabile della Staffa style. So is this something that what do you mean by that? Because this is definitely, this tastes different from the others. It's not.
Yes, but you know, I like that, you know me, I like to explore, I like to experience, but I also like to respect tradition, you know. So in the Conestabile line, I'm more in the direction of the tradition because we are what we were. And so for me, it's very important. So this red style wine is exactly a document of what the people drank a long time ago in my place. And it's like a tribute to the people that create the vineyard and create the cellar before me. So I need to do this kind of tribute to them, you know? Yes.
It's delicious. I
love
this
it's
wine
delicious. It's creamy, it's very welcome to everybody, red wine. And it's good, and there is a 14-degree alcohol, so it's not so light, but it's still drinking very, very, very easy. And thanks to the combination of the inorganic acids and the extract and the alcohol. Yeah.
You said as you were starting to talk about this, you said this is made from Colorino.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Colorino also Alicante? Or
Yeah, it's the same. You can call
okay.
Alicante Boucher or Colorino.
Okay, all right. They're
exactly the same name. Yes.
Are there? I mean, I guess I'm assuming that there's, like all grape varieties, there's different versions and different clones. So I'm sort of assuming that there are Colorino is Alicante that has been here in Italy for longer, and then there's sort of slightly different clones of Alicante all through Spain and
yeah, we still have. I don't think it's the same in Spain. I think that we have Colorino in Tuscany.
Yeah,
which is called Alicante Boucher, and we have Colorino in south, especially in Campania, which is called Tintorello. Tinto means color, or Tintorella, or Uva Tintoria. So that means grape that make color, you know. But it's not so spread in the rest of the world. It's very specific because it was used to give color to the Sangiovese or to the Nebbiolo because they have not so rich content in polyphenols.
Right. So that was so people grew this and then they sold it up north to be blended with wines long ago to increase their color. Yeah.
We call it the wine of cut to blend, no? The wine of cut. Cut means blend in Italy.
Okay.
Wine to give more color. Okay.
Right. Okay.
But this is really a tribute for for the family of my wife.
Okay. Yeah.
Stabile della statua.
Well, yeah, I love all of these, but yeah, I love this, and I love that it still has that acidity and that balance, but it's bigger and riper, and it's clearly a different approach and sort of like goal and philosophy in the wine.
Yes, you know, I can see that the wine can give to me lots of different colors, no?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to use this color to create different painting works of art. Yes, before leaving for the marathon.
Before that was the start.
Yeah, it was the start.
That was the start.
There is also in the middle.
That was about the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, in Tiberi we have the Ariol.
And then where okay, right. I guess yeah. So I was taking a picture. So I was lying on the ground over here in the shade under a tree. So I'm lying on the ground and you were over there leaning against the building. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the end.
We need to do again, huh?
We do need to do that again.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe not so long, but I'm game. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. We will do our best. Don't worry.
It could be a little shorter. Yeah.
Yeah. We will find the shorter way to my place to Tiberi. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know. I remember you. When we were starting, you said, "Oh,
much better.
It's too short. We can't take the short way. We'll have to come up with something longer."
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up there.
Short way and more wine.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you very much. Thanks so much for talking about your philosophy and the spirituality, how you approach it spiritually, your relationship with the vineyards, and that you know how that guides you, and then how you make the wine. And it's interesting. I mean, I think you are more technically skilled. You talking to you know so much technically about how fermentation happens and all the different families of yeast and stuff. And we didn't really get into that, and that's totally fine. But I've talked to other wine, but there's still, like you were saying, there's still an element that is just feel that's that's experience, that you, it's like spiritual, it's feel, it's you being guided by the taste. And I've heard that from other winemakers too, that, you know, I've asked them like, well, do you wait for malolactic fermentation to finish before you do this? And they say, I actually, I don't even know whether it goes through malolactic fermentation. I just transfer the wine when it's
not my problem. It's not my problem, malolactic fermentation.
Yeah.
You know, malolactic is not my problem. It's the problem that is not a great believer in the nature. I am a great believer in the nature. So I always went out the fermentation with a very, very well done malolactic. So, you know, the men are super clever to create problems in the winemaking. But you know, sometimes for me it's very fun to see these people that are around this necessity to do something, to don't do something, and they have the missing of the most important compass, which is the spirit. The spirit is the compass that should drive us to the vineyard and to the wine. Then lots of technique, of course, but mostly at the beginning of this approach should be the spirit.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Danilo. I'll let you get back to bottling there. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to Ricardo and Georgia and Alessandro, Federico. I'm glad you're all well.
Yes, and wait a second. I let all my team will say to you hi. Ragazzi, venite a salutare tutti quanti Ned, okay? And I show you the most important factor of the terroir, which is this.
The human connection.
Ciao,
human
ciao
connection.
Ned.
Ciao, Ricardo. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Come
How are
stai?
you?
Grazie.
Bene, bene.
So remember, the most important factor in the making wine is the human component. You know,
That's right.
because it's the most critical factor.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because in the nature everything is perfect.
Right.
Just we are fluid. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Great.
Stay well.
Bye, Danilo. Thank you. Stay
Ciao.
dry.
Bye.